Get up and dump it, let her show you how a stripper do. Make her feel important, make her want it, go on and tip her too. Say she like to shake it, let her take it, go on and pop it right. Now she bend it over, cause I told her, ain't no stopping right. Watch her in the middle, ayy, watch her on the floor, ayy. Watch her turn around and sit up on it like she been begging me to come, cause she ain't checking for your friend. And every time I come and see her, she be pulling up at 10.
She got a little booty, and she wanna dop it. She got a big booty, and she wanna dop it. She wanna toot it, yeah, she wanna dop it, dop it, dop it, dop it, dop it.
All right. Omaha, the Burbs are blessed. Welcome to the Boss Morning Show. I'm your host, William King. Oh, yeah, we got a special treat, guys, today. The Alpha Mission. Oh, yeah, the Alpha Mission is going to be with us every Monday going forward, every Monday. Like I said, our goal is to, we're going to do some different things. We got a guest calling in from Chicago. Oh, yeah, we got a show that's going to be broadcasting out of Chicago. This is how we do it, y'all. I told you we're going to be changing our format. We're going to be a morning show so you guys can, learn, right? So stay tuned with us. We're going to have about 7:30 this morning, about another 15 minutes. I want to give shouts out to all the bus drivers, all the drivers out there that transport our precious cargo, without a doubt, our young people. Make sure you guys go learn. My mom always said, they got theirs, you get yours, without a doubt, baby. Today is, we're going to call this the Alpha Mission. Alpha Mission, y'all. We're going to be talking about money, though. We're going to be talking about how we could do business, though, today. Of course, today is Making Money Monday, but we're starting something new. We got the Alpha Mission. They'll be calling in. My man Robert will be calling in shortly. And we're going to be talking about how we can, decrease crime, but also increase wealth in our community. So stick with us. Stay with us. The NOI, Nebraska, Omaha, Iowa. Oh, yeah. You know how we rebrand it. We're going to start like this. My girl, Savannah. Boss with me. It's going to start sooner or later. You know how technology is at times. Savannah, she's 6 years old, y'all. Oh, yeah, she's our neighbor. Here at 95.7 The Boss, oh, yeah, we play local music. Make sure it's radio edit. Email it to me, williamkingjr@yahoo.com.
SAVANAH, that's my name, Savannah. 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 I'm 6 years old, yes I am. I go to the park with my friends. I like to P-L-A-Y, 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 P-L-A-Y. Cause it's summertime. SAVANAH, that's my name, Savannah. 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 I have a sister named Summer. I'm in Cali for the summer. I love my mama. I'm at the beach with Miss Amanda. Yes, I am. Yeah. S-U-N-O-U-T. 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 That's my name, Savannah. S-A-V-A-N-A-H. That's my name, Savannah. S-A-V-A-N-A-H. That's my name, Savannah. S-A-V-A-N-A-H. That's my name, Savannah.
Baby, I'm hot like summer. Yeah, I'ma do what I wanna, white steady. Tryna wipe it down. I'm getting money right now. Need no love ties holding me down. Baby, I'm hot like summer. Yeah, I'ma do what I wanna, white steady. Tryna wipe it down. I'm getting money right now. Need no love ties holding me down. Baby, I'm hot like summer. I've been on the move, road running. Ain't on your calls for nothing. I've been on my grind, yeah. Can't kick it, baby. Sorry, ain't got time. You said you love me. Would you still be if my money ain't right? Tell me the truth, baby. Talk to me nice. Think that I'm holding in the back of your mind. Chasing these millions, ain't chasing no dimes. Love won't pay the bills. Love like might get you pills. So I'm careful who deal with me. I'ma catch a case if you ain't really for me. Shooters even better drill for me. Fake love, yeah, I'm starting to feel it. Gotta split the block, someone snitching these stitches. And if we get money, don't speak how we did it. Can't roll with nobody who ain't with it. If I with you, we running up digits. Can't stop at 6 figures, I'm $1 million, baby. I can't be your little baby. Baby, I'm hot like summer. Yeah, I'ma do what I wanna, white steady. Tryna wipe it down. I'm getting money right now. Need no love ties holding me down. Baby, I'm hot like summer. Yeah, I'ma do what I wanna, white steady. Tryna wipe it down. I'm getting money right now. Need no love ties holding me down. I need somebody who really about it. My own shouldn't drive, I carry my plate. They running their lips, but ain't really on shit. I told you once, don't speak what I did. It's a dead mouse in the trap. You play with my cheese, you display. That's how you silence a rat. You making noise, tell truth, you ain't speaking the facts. Babe, I'm gonna keep it 100. Would you rather have me tell you a lie? Giving you options, you won't love me or not. Hold on. Babe, I was gonna be right back. You didn't understand that. I had to hang up these racks. I'm not your typical catch. I like rich sex in the back of the Phantom. Stars on the ceiling, it's not a rental. Been a long day, me good. How you been, boo? Ain't tryna argue about these. Stay busy on the road. You see that I'm here with you. No, I ain't tryna argue about. I stay busy on the road, you know. Baby, I'm hot like summer. Yeah, I'ma do what I wanna, white steady. Tryna wipe it down. Love ties holding me down. Baby, I'm hot like summer. Yeah, I'ma do what I wanna, white steady. Tryna wipe it down. I'm getting money right now. You know, love ties holding me down. Holding me down. You know, love ties that's holding me down. If I run it up, you gon' stick around. If I run it up, you gon' be around. You know, love ties that's holding me down.
Oh yeah, keep it rolling this morning. Oh yeah, welcome this morning, y'all. Today, oh yeah, Making Money Monday. But we calling this the Alpha Mission. They're gonna be calling in around about 7:30 this morning, y'all. We're gonna talk about entrepreneurship. Love is a verb. Let's do business. All right. So we'll be talking about business, y'all. So stay with us, stay tuned. Without it out. We'll keep it rolling, y'all. Boss with me.
It's the world famous ship. And it's your number one DJ, Mr. Soul. Yeah, she done cooked up in here. And it goes like. Shout out to my DJ. We about to run the streets like a relay. All about my cheese like I'm Green Bay. Packages coming in like it's eBay. Oh, and we know just how to get it off. You gotta deal with playing, you know I get it all. Hit the block and make it somersault. If it ain't about money, then I won't get involved. Look, make a call, he gon' get it all. Vacuum sealing, but we send it all. Yeah, I'm hot, no ethanol. Put a bag on his head, that's a problem solved. Ever get about a hater? No, not at all. Ever trust a trick? No, not at all. Hit a smooth lick when ain't got it all. Never ever been a worker, always been a boss. Catch me riding on my dolo. Trying to find a way to get some more dough. Oh, I think I found my mojo. And I ain't going broke no more. True, got these little haters mad. Why? Cause I'm really, really in my bag. Right. Invest and make it double back twice. Just a younger living that fast life. Shout out to my DJ. We about to run the streets like a relay. All about my cheese like I'm Green Bay. Packages coming in like it's eBay. Oh, and we know just how to get it all. You gotta deal with playing, you know I get it all. Hit the block and make it somersault. If it ain't about money, then I won't get involved. It's that hitter. My rolling like a skate figure. Right now, you looking like a steak dinner. Better leave before we take you off that plate, hitter. Oh, and you don't wanna go there. Look around, ain't no goofies in here nowhere. Ooh, look, shout out to my DJ. Couple shows hit the road on the freeway. Oh, they showing love like it's V-Day. Every day is lit like it's my B-Day. You know I had to do this thing the G-Way. Cause they gon' wanna hear this song on replay. Shout out to my DJ. We about to run the streets like a relay. Packages coming in like it's eBay. We know just how to get it all. You gotta deal with playing, you know I get it all. Hit the block and make it somersault. If it ain't about money, then I won't get it.
My situations, they don't define me. There's more to me than what you see. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm an overcomer, survivor. That's why I win. Don't stop believing. This is your season. Name it, claim it. It's yours. It's yours. I am determined to run this race I'm given. His grace is the reason why I made. My life is changing. I'm rearranging. New walk, new talk, new heights. I'm gaining. Don't stop believing. This is your season. Name it, claim it. It's yours. It's yours. Leaning on the everlasting arms of God. Leaning on the everlasting arms of God. It's your season. Don't stop leaning on the everlasting arms of God. This is a message. Pay close attention. You're coming into your breakthrough. No hesitation. frustration or procrastination. Give thanks, embrace your new season. Yeah, don't stop believing. This is your season. Name it, claim it, it's yours. It's yours. Don't stop believing. This is your season. Name it, claim it, it's yours.
All right. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. That was, Christ love praise, without a doubt. You know, today is Monday. We normally call this Making Money Monday. And so we bring in the big money. We're changing our format as I discussed earlier. As this next year is coming up, we want to make sure that we add more programming that is going to teach you how to fish per se, without a doubt. And so, of course, I got to bring in experts around the world, and this gentleman, he's been here before, but he's based out of one of my favorite cities, Chicago, which is my favorite city actually. Um, but he's doing some incredible things, and he's bringing this opportunity here to Omaha, so we can grow our business culture. And you know how these stars are, Omaha. You know how these stars are. They got their own nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositional phrases, all yes, and predicates to introduce themselves. I'm going to let him introduce himself. We'll get right into the dialogue. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you today?
Good, good. Want to let people know who you are.
Well, I can kind of give my little 1 minute bio.
Okay.
I was born in Philadelphia, but I grew up in Wichita, Kansas. And I grew up I would say I was lucky. I grew up to two great parents. My mother was 20 and my father 23 when I was born. So I would say they had no dough. So, which I feel like that was a blessing for me, because my parents essentially gave me a certain set of rules, and they said if you follow these rules, you can do pretty much whatever you want to do.
Right.
So when I was 4, I think I was part of one of the first kindergarten classes. So I would walk to school and I would pick up recycling bottles and turn them in to go to the store, turn them in, and that time you get a nickel or a dime. I can't remember what it was. And then when I was 8 years old, I noticed that, kids would go to the candy store during lunch, and if you got back late, the teacher would hit you with these paddles. So I figured, wanting to avoid punishment, people would buy my candy if I went to buy it. So I used to buy this stuff called Bub's Daddy, these long sticks of gum.
Right.
I would buy them for a nickel and sell them for a dime. So I was 8 years old and I was making pretty good money. And I really just liked the feeling of being in my control of my own destiny.
Right.
So I did that. And then in 1973, when I was 12 years old, my family moved from Kansas to Chicago. And my parents we didn't know anything about Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And my father was trying to figure out a place for us to go to school. So he got an appointment with the head of Chicago Public Schools. It was a man named Manfred Bird. And he said, I want to get my kids into a good school. He said, you don't get to tell your kids where to go to school. I do.
Mm-hmm.
My father didn't like that very much, so we moved to the suburbs. And we were the first Black family in the suburbs in a place called Lombard, Illinois. And so I had a bomb thrown in my house and "Nigga Go Home" written on our lawn. And, obviously that wasn't very fun if you were a 12-year-old.
Right.
But I went to school, and I had this suspicion that white people like gum too. So I went and bought a bunch of gum. I started selling gum at school, and people were buying so much gum that they stopped buying the school's ice cream. So I ended up doing a deal where I would sell my gum and the school's ice cream.
Uh-huh.
And I would say that was a important lesson for me in my life, because it's like I don't really care if people don't like me or not, if I get to do what I want to do.
Right.
So I did that, and luckily my parents kind of found a black church for us to go to, and out in Wheaton, Illinois, which is just another one of the western suburbs. But they had this little black enclave. So I built a lot of friends there. So I went to school, studied math, because I wasn't that interested in school, but I was pretty good at math. So I did that, and then went to school, studied math. I worked at IBM for a little while. And when I was with IBM, and oh, by the way, IBM had what's called a no nepotism rule, which means you can't hire your relatives.
Okay.
But everybody in my family worked at IBM. So this kind of taught me a lesson. So really what would happen is, different managers would say, hey, you hire my kids, I hire your kids, which is kind of how the way the world works.
Right.
So I was there, and IBM was really a sales culture, and I was just kind of this nerdy math guy. So I didn't fit what I wanted to do. But while I was there, I was kind of determined to not embarrass my father. So I ended up writing algorithms that would give salespeople signals when to upgrade machines. And then when I was 22, I left, and I started a computer consulting company. And I would say why I was like a lot of 22-year-olds. I knew a lot more about business, about technology than business.
Uh-huh.
But I kind of did well enough to take care of myself. And remember, I was at my best friend's mother's house. So I was 21, and I told her that by the time I was 22, I was going to have a Porsche.
Okay.
And she said, no, you're not going to buy a Porsche. And of course, and I said, of course I am. And luckily, I had always saved my money, and so I ended up 22. I buy this Porsche. And I'm just thinking, man, my life is going to be really good. I'm going to drive up to the Academy Awards. All the girls are going to like me, all this nonsense. And I say that's another one of the valuable lessons I had in my life. And I learned that, the stuff can't make you happy.
Okay. So
from there, every time I liked something too much, I would get rid of it.
Okay.
So, I did that.
And I went. And you talking about material things, correct?
Material things.
Okay.
But I grew up in the 60s, and obviously I was a big fan of Muhammad Ali, who used to go to school with my mother. My mother's from Louisville, Kentucky. And so I was really inspired by, I would say, the black men of the 60s.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali, obviously, being the most famous one. James Brown was another one. Obviously, Martin Luther King, and then Malcolm X and others, who's from Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. Then I started writing programs for this commodity trading fund. And the guy who's like a predecessor, I'd say, to Bernie Madoff, took all the good trades and put it in his account and spread out all the bad trades to his customer. So I said, they're going to throw the programmer in jail. So I came back to Chicago. I knew somebody who was a trader at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Okay.
And I said, I'll work for you for free for 6 months if you just let me on the floor. So he said, okay. And I called my parents and asked them if I could stay at their house for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And they said yes. So during this time, I was kind of committed to being a world class trader.
Okay.
So my day would start off at 3 in the morning. I would get up and I'd have to travel to go downtown. I would be on the trading floor until the market that I was working in, which was the Japanese yen, closed at 1:30. Then I went to the library. I studied until it closed, and then I studied on the train, and then I would study until 10 o'clock at night when I had to force myself to go to sleep.
Okay.
So I did that really 7 days a week. In fact, I was so focused on this, I even put a little weight set inside my bedroom so I wouldn't have to waste time leaving the bedroom.
Right.
Except to eat and take a shower.
Right.
So I got pretty good at trading. And then let me see what year this would have been. This is probably 91.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up funding a company and having to take it over. So I turned this company into a company that built financial modeling systems for large companies.
Okay.
And that did really well. And then my father retired from IBM and we had a company together. And then 3 years later, I sold him my half of the company.
Okay.
And so in 95, I was 34 years old. I was going to buy a house. I'm going to buy a house in a black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an area in Chicago called North Kenwood, Oakland. It was, I would say, the most dangerous part of the city. But the government had started to tear down public housing.
Right.
So I bought a bunch of land. And what I thought we needed was an economically integrated black neighborhood, while everybody else thought we needed a racially integrated neighborhood. So I bought a bunch of land. I built houses. I made them after famous black people. And that neighborhood is today what I envisioned it would be, which is an economically integrated black neighborhood, and things are better for everybody. In fact, it's the only black neighborhood I know of in the country that's better off today than it was in the year 1967.
Interesting. What's
So,
can you explain the difference between the model? You said a race model versus you said,
well, everybody thought that what that neighborhood needed was racial integration.
okay.
They were essentially saying this neighborhood will be better if we get white people to come in.
Okay.
And what I thought was, listen, you don't need white people to be successful.
Okay.
There's nothing against, I have nothing against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that blacks can't have a successful community, to me, was kind of ludicrous.
Right.
So that neighborhood is a predominantly black neighborhood, and everything is better for everybody, I believe, in that neighborhood today. So I did that, and I took some of the land
Mm-hmm.
that I had purchased, and I gave it to other black developers so that they could develop.
Okay.
So I did that. Then I went back and I started a company that I run today. It's called EKI Digital. It's a technology consulting company. And what we do is to help typically really large organizations leverage technology to improve their performance.
Mm-hmm. So you leverage technology for companies to improve their performance.
Yeah.
In what capacity? What areas? Is financial areas? Is making sure that their books are straight in regards to the IRS?
Well, typically these are very large companies
Okay.
or government. So we help them find efficiencies and new sources of revenue.
Okay.
But like if you went to the City of Chicago website, we built that. We built the payment engines. So I would say that's a little bit about us. And so in it would have been let's see, in 2000, in the year 2000,
Mm-hmm.
I thought the stock market was going to go bad. So I was in this taxi, and this taxi driver gave me some stock advice, and I said, okay, well, for sure it's over now.
Mm-hmm.
So I said we should diversify into the public sector because we'd never done any business with government.
Mm-hmm.
So we sponsored something called the Ping Pong Festival.
Okay.
So Chicago had the Ping Pong Festival, and we took $100,000 and sponsored it. And whenever there were tables out there, there were just lines of people to play.
Okay.
So I started to get what I call, and then they asked me to be the chairman of that. And then I started to get what I call this entrepreneurial itch.
Mm-hmm.
So I started not long after that. In 2001, I was talking to one of our interns, and I said, I think I'm going to start a table tennis company.
Okay.
So I decided we were going to start a table tennis company because I said, well, two reasons. I said, well, everybody in the world knows table tennis. Nobody can name the name of a brand. So
right.
I said, we'll start a table tennis company. And the other thing is, I said that Black people don't own anything in sports. We participate in sports.
Right.
We're the entertainers in sports, but we don't own anything in sports.
Right.
So I decided to start a table tennis company, and the name of the company is called Killer Spin.
Okay.
So kind of shortly, we became the leading company in the world in producing table tennis media. We did all the media for ESPN around the world. We did, and then we created the high end of the category.
Mm-hmm.
Because in business, you want to figure out how you can differentiate yourself. So we created a high end of table tennis. So that's something that we run today.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I've always been, I would say, very pro-Black.
Right.
And I was lucky. I had two very good parents. So my parents were very pro-Black, but not anti anybody else.
Right.
So
which is crucial, because when you teach children burdens, they carry those burdens on, and the burden of hating someone, that's a heavy burden.
yeah, in fact, we have there's a young woman that works for us.
Mm-hmm.
She came out of public housing, and she was making $13 an hour. And we got a chance to meet her, and we hired her. Now she makes $50,000. She was able to leave public housing, and her whole life is better.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things she said to me one day is, Robert, I'm really happy that I have this opportunity and I can be here. But one of the things I really like is that I get to know people from all over the world.
Right.
I get to understand their holidays, and because our company is, which is a rarity in technology, is mostly Black and Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you don't have to hate anybody else to love your own people.
Right.
And I think that's kind of an important message for us today.
Mm-hmm.
So after last summer, last summer? It was actually when the whole George Floyd incident happened. I wrote a series of articles called "Love is a Bird,"
Mm-hmm.
and the theme of that was originally mostly saying to white people, nobody can feed or protect their family based on your sympathy. So if you want to help somebody, go buy something from somebody. So out of this kind of series, I decided, we've got to do something so that our people can participate in the economy, talent.
Mm-hmm.
And if we do that, not only will we that we've been trying to solve for a long time, but the U.S. will be a better place. So I'm kind of a big fan of history and economics, and there was a partnership between Booker T. Washington and a man named Julius Rosenwald.
Okay.
In the late 1800s, Booker T. Washington gave a famous speech, I believe it was in Atlanta, and he said to the business community, America's never going to be what it can be until blacks get included in the economy. We don't need to live around you, but we have to be a part of the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So the industrialists of that day were responsive to Booker T. Washington. They weren't prescriptive. In fact, most people would have heard of Spelman College, but almost nobody know what where Spelman comes from, the word Spelman. Spelman was the maiden name of John D. Rockefeller's wife. So Julius Rosenwald, it said to other business people, what's happening to blacks in this country is wrong. So together, Booker T. Washington and Julius Rosenwald, and really the black community, built 5,300 schools in the South, which is how black people got educated. Because remember, it was illegal to educate black people in the South.
Right.
So they built 5,300 schools, and black people built those schools, which is how black people became the tradespeople of the South. And then they also started something called the Negro Business League. Because Booker T. Washington said the purpose of education is to, one, is to teach you how to be a good citizen, and number two, to prepare you to participate in the economy.
Right.
So they did that, and out of that came the Black Wall Streets. So imagine 120 years ago, in the middle of the Jim Crow South, you had these things called freedom colonies. Essentially, they were kind of small towns that were started by black entrepreneurs, and they became very successful. There was one in Durham, North Carolina, which was one of the first, and a very big insurance company came out of that. And the most famous one was the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
Which was started by two black entrepreneurs who had been very successful in Mississippi, and they moved to Oklahoma. They got a land grant, and they started the Greenwood district of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And within a decade, they built a very successful black town, and it became an aspirational community. So blacks would migrate to Tulsa. They would be part of there. Blacks really controlled that economy. People from house workers to successful business people. In fact, there were two airports in Oklahoma. One of them was in the Greenwood district, and black people owned private planes in greater proportions than whites did.
Man.
So that proves two things. One is that the free enterprise system works when given a chance. But number two, the government has to do its job in protecting its citizens equally, which of course it did not do, which is why we had the Tulsa race massacre.
Right.
And that happened all over the country, frankly. And I think the tone was set by President Woodrow Wilson, which was one of the great racist presidents in our history. So if we go forward, that the height of black business in this country was between 1910 and 1930. It coincided with the Black Wall Street.
Okay.
The height of black education was in the 40s and 50s. Because a lot of these, because of segregation, we all had to live together. And the teachers, so if there was a science teacher, they were really a scientist. So I think the people of that generation fought for black people to have real opportunities. And it wasn't just black people because we couldn't have got out of slavery by ourselves.
Right.
There were some will as well, so we shouldn't write that off. Now there were a lot of evil people, but there was also some good people that knew what was happening was wrong.
Yeah, without a doubt. We still got some around today. I call them modern day Quakers and abolitionists.
But today, so anyway, after I'd always been a big advocate of people doing business with blacks, and that's the way for us to go from poverty to prosperity. Because here's some of the numbers. I did a study of the 2010 census. So if you take all the companies by ethnicity with employees, majority-owned companies would have been 9.4 trillion, women $1 trillion, Asians 455 billion, Hispanics 276 billion, and blacks 98 billion. Even though blacks have double the educational achievement of Hispanics. So, and that is not even a real number. A lot of this are what I call these fake corporate minority programs, where they're looking to pass through numbers so they get credit without losing any money.
Okay.
So the outcome of this is that blacks are the only group in the United States that make less today than they did in the year 2000.
Man.
And black boys are the least likely of any group to escape poverty.
Man, is this a perpetuation of just racism, Jim Crowism?
No. Here's what I think. If you look at other immigrant groups, the wealthiest group in the United States are Indians, not Native Americans, but Indians from the subcontinent of India.
Okay.
They make 73% more than white people on average. So you can't say there was some big white person meeting to decide that Indians ought to make more than them.
Right.
And the other thing most people don't know is that the most educated group of people in the United States are Nigerians. Now, last time I checked, Nigerians count as black.
Heck yeah, without a doubt.
So I would say why people think that we have the biggest problem we have is systemic racism. I think the biggest problem we have is systemic paternalism.
Explain that.
Where, well, to me this probably sounds provocative, but I think a lot of times people look at black people like they're tall children.
Okay.
Because all these things, I mean, I would say when people are trying to solve the problem of black people, they want to have like entrepreneurship training classes for 10-year-olds, things like that, or they want to give gift. They want to feel benevolent.
Right.
So we'll give some charity here. What person can live based on somebody else's charity? Charity are the crumbs of other people's success.
Right.
We need to create our own success. So you do that by participating in the economy, because nowhere in the world are poor people healthy, educated, and safe. And conversely, nowhere in the world are affluent people, regardless of their race, not healthy, educated, and safe.
Right.
Michael Jordan, who I believe counts as black, is as healthy as his behavior. His kids go to the best schools possible, and you can't get near him, so he's safe. So the problem that we have is one of money. You get money from participating in the economy, and there's only one way to go from poverty to prosperity. That is entrepreneurial-led economic activity.
Right.
That leads to the appreciation of education and social capital. Social capital is when you reach back and you pull people from your community along. But more importantly, you create an aspirational roadmap for your young people so they know where to place their bets.
Right.
I've asked this question to at least 1,000 people. I said, name two famous black entrepreneurs that would be nationally known with no connection to sports or any other form of entertainment. And 1,000 times of me asking that question, not one person has ever been able to answer that question.
Mm.
So why is that important? It's important because black kids trapped in poverty can't either. The market tells them to place their bets on sports and entertainment, and that's exactly what they do.
Right.
In fact, there's a very interesting correlation. I'm not sure it's causation, but it's correlation for sure. You an athlete, so you would know this.
Right.
The stud athletes start to separate themselves from the rest of the bunch about the age of 12. Coincidentally, that's about the same time that boys get involved in gangs.
Okay.
And unfortunately, too many of our young, especially young men, think that their only hope is to become a rapper
Right.
or some other form of entertainer. So we have a problem now where if that's where you think your opportunity is, that's what you're going to place your bet on. That's what you're going to be spending your day doing.
Right.
And unfortunately, there are very few slots for people in that. So there's another correlation that where people, when they talk about black people, what they'll talk about, the biggest problem that we have is kind of out of wedlock births.
Mm-hmm.
So if that were true anywhere in the world where you had that issue, you would also have high degrees of crime. Well, France and Sweden and Scandinavia, those countries, their out of wedlock birth rate's about 60%. Now, it is true, you will do better if you grow up with a mother and a father. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
However, Mexico, Nigeria, Brazil have out of wedlock birth rates that are under 10%. New York City and Mexico City are about the same size. They're about 9 million inside the city.
Okay.
In 2019, New York City had about 500 murders. The same year, Mexico City had 21,000.
21,000 murders?
21,000. Know why, listen, shootings and murder, they are a problem in our inner cities today. It's a very big problem. However, it does not compare to Latin America. So the real correlation is when economic, and I started to think about this, said, you know, Al Capone and John Gotti and all these guys, these organized criminals, they grew up in two-parent households. Have you ever seen like Goodfellas?
Yes, yeah. They all had a mom and pop. Yep, you're right.
So you think about like Goodfellas, right? Henry Hill, he looks across the street, he sees the people with the fancy suits and the big cars, and you know that would not be very different from from what our young people see.
Right.
And so he grew up in a two-parent household. But the real issue is when economic opportunity aligns to criminal activity. That's the real correlation to pay attention to.
Right.
So Marcus Aurelius, who was the emperor of Rome and a famous Stoic philosopher, said that poverty is the mother of crime. So therefore, our issue is one of economic participation. So you can only do that when people do business with you. So right now there's this big push to have, you know, we call access to capital. And there's three kinds of capital. There's debt, which means you get a loan from a bank or somebody else. And, you know, but you have to pay back that money. Equity is when somebody invests in your company and you sell them a part of your company and they give you money.
Right.
The third kind of debt is customer capital, is when people do business with you. Ultimately, if nobody does business with you, you're not going to get a loan for your company, and nobody's going to invest in your company.
Right.
The problem that we have is that nobody does business with blacks. If we solve that problem, and I kind of jokingly say that we need fewer, I would call it the, inner city programs.
Mm-hmm.
We need fewer inner city programs, which I call little black kid programs.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to give money to the little black kids. But I say if little black parents have some little green bills, they take care of their own little black kids.
Right.
Just like everybody else does. So if we can get people to just do business with black companies, but then you have to tie that opportunity to responsibility for pulling other people along. So in this, I created something called the Lead Partner Program.
Okay.
What the Lead Partner Program says to companies is to just do business. Do business with a company, with a black company, in a meaningful way. But then the black companies have three responsibilities. One is to identify a clear value proposition, because if you can't do that, you can't be in business. Number two, take on the role of the mentor, so that the black companies become the prime and the subs, the mentors and the proteges.
Okay.
And then lastly, take on what I call some community enrichment responsibility. So we invest in small black IT companies or black talent in IT. We fund something called Mowers and Blowers. It's microfinance for cutting grass and moving snow.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to do something called a housing for tutoring exchange, where we give honor roll black college students a place to live in exchange for mentoring and tutoring elementary and high school kids. So what I am kind of saying to the business community, look, we got a country that we need to protect. Not everybody believes in free enterprise.
Right.
There are a lot of people now who believe in socialism. And young people primarily, are believing socialism means social good. I don't happen to believe that. I believe that the free enterprise system, which is based on the voluntary exchange of value.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't force anybody to do anything. And black people are more than talented enough to run meaningful businesses. So, and I was speaking I kind of tell everybody, frankly, Democrats and Republicans and everybody else, that we need to solve the problem of blacks' participation in the economy. So I created something called Alpha Mission.
Okay.
And Alpha Mission comes out, one of the articles, the Love is a Verb articles I wrote, was entitled We Choose to Go to the Moon. In September of 1962, President Kennedy gave a famous speech that was actually written by Ted Sorensen, who's from Nebraska.
Okay.
And he said, we choose to go to the moon in this decade, not because it's easy, but because it's hard, and because it is a mission worthy of our best efforts. So the president committed the country to a great mission.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, it's hard to imagine now because we've been there, but in 1962 saying, we are going to land on the moon and we're going to come back. The moon is 250,000 miles away from the Earth. That's the same as circling the Earth 10 times.
Man.
So out of that mission, that created the opportunity for the black female mathematicians featured in the movie Hidden Figures.
Right.
And then Neil Armstrong, who was the first man to step on the moon, said that he wasn't getting in that rocket ship until Katherine Johnson specifically mapped his way back home.
Right.
So if we can do that, another little interesting fact here. So after President Obama was elected in most of us in Chicago know him because we're the same age. And Barack was actually the lawyer for our company.
Okay.
I met him in 1992 and became friends. And it was the Black entrepreneur that listed Barack before other people knew who he was. And so after he was elected, I got invited to do a tour of India.
Okay.
And I met the head of all their tech companies and everybody in the central bank, and he kind of gave me the story of India. He said, 1991, they decided that they were going to free their economy. So they figured out socialism doesn't work. They started to free their economy. Their government started doing business with their small entrepreneurs, which prepared them for the international market. And then U.S. business just did business with capable Asian entrepreneurs. They didn't have any diversity programs. They weren't trying to help anybody. They were just trying to help themselves. But they just did business with capable Asian entrepreneurs. And then in a period of 20 years, India and China took 750 million people out of poverty. That's double the population of the United States. In the same period, Black people in this country went more into poverty. So there is a pathway that's been tried and proven to help our people go from poverty to prosperity. There was the Black Wall Street. And then Chicago, by the way, used to be the mecca of Black opportunity in this country. That's why you got a lot of migrants coming out of the South. They moved to Chicago, not just for jobs, but also for dignity. There was, when Chicago was at its strongest, Chicago was the Black business capital of the world. Today, Chicago's Black people are fleeing Chicago 100 miles an hour. And where are they going? They're going to Atlanta. In 1973, the Black business community and the white business community got together and said, Blacks are going to have political power. Whites have economic power. Let's create an Atlanta that works for everybody. And they did. And then Maynard Jackson, which is somebody I think we Black people should build a statue to, said, I'd rather there be weeds on the runway than Black people not be involved in the development of that airport.
Right.
So Hartsfield-Jackson, as it's called right now, is one of the world's great airports. Between it and Chicago, it goes back and forth in being the busiest airport in the country. And Atlanta is a very different city today than it was back then. Back in 1973, Atlanta and Birmingham, Alabama were kind of sister cities. Today, Atlanta is the mecca of Black opportunity. That's why Black people are going there.
Right.
So I think, listen, gravity and economics works the same for everybody. And if we get people to just do business with us, not only will our people go from poverty to prosperity, but the U.S. will be a better country. So that's my thing. So we're working on the Alpha mission, which I describe as a movement of people of goodwill dedicated to proving that the free enterprise system works for everybody.
Right. Now is your goal here what's your goal here in Nebraska and why Nebraska?
Well, it's interesting. Malcolm X was born in Omaha. So I think it's a good place to start. I think Omaha is big enough and small enough for us to do something that'll set an example for the nation.
Right.
I met the governor. Then I gave this presentation to the Omaha Chamber of Commerce, and they said, I like it. So I said, hey, we're going to start in Omaha. So the goal of Alpha Mission Nebraska now is by December 2025, Nebraska will be a leader in Black participation in the country, creating a pathway for ending once and for all the generational poverty of its Black citizens. So the goals we have is to have, by December 2025, have $1 billion in Black business, which is less than 1% of the Nebraska economy, a 50% drop in Black crime, and 1,000 Black boys pass a calculus test. Because if you can pass a calculus test, you can do anything.
Without a doubt.
So we've got an office there, and I think it is a great place to start. And what better place to have a transformation of our people than the birthplace of Malcolm X? So,
hey, I totally agree. I believe so heartily that we will be the difference maker in this whole country. Um, Greatness is in this area, and so we appreciate you recognizing that and adding some fuel, to the mission. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs, the NOI. We're talking to Robert Blackwell Jr. He's the founder of Alpha Mission, Nebraska. We're going to be coming to you every Monday from 7:30 to 8:30 to create a different mindset in regard to doing business with Black entrepreneurs. Um, we have the same mission, and we know for a fact that small businesses creates more jobs. Um, Brother Blackwell, anything else? What else is going on? So, how can people get involved with the Alpha Mission?
well, there's a website called it's alphamission.com. So we're putting in the infrastructure now. We've hired some people locally. We got a new executive director. So there's alphamission.com. You can just go and just be on the email list, and that's what I would say right now. So things
Okay.
we're planning is to support some business and science clubs and some high schools in North Omaha. Trying to be helpful to Black entrepreneurs. So I would say that's kind of where we're starting.
Okay.
But there'll be, I think if we're going to be successful, we have to create what I call this movement of people of goodwill.
Okay.
And if we do that, just my own view is, and I kind of say this to Black men specifically, if we leave these kids in the situation they're in, and we don't do something about it, God's going to punish us. That may sound corny, but that's what I believe.
I believe the same thing. As elders in the community, as adults in the community, it's our responsibility to develop conduits of opportunities for the next generation. This Alpha Mission, the Alpha Mission Nebraska, is one of the tools that is going to create conduits of economic opportunities for the next generation. I'm on board. We're going to make sure that you guys are on board as we continue to educate you throughout Mondays. Brother Robert, what else is going on? I know they can go to the website. I've been putting the website up. Again, you can go to www.alphamission.com. You can hear, everything, read everything you want to know about the Alpha Mission and how to get in contact so you can add your flavor to it. Brother Robert, you said that you went to the chamber, you went to the governor. How has the brothers been? Because the ultimate mission is going to be coming down to entrepreneurs, particularly Black men. What's your feedback um, from those brothers?
It's been really good. Like I give you an example. I presented the Alpha Mission I went to a group of barbers. I did this at both in Chicago and in Omaha. And the responsibility the response has been really good.
Great.
So I think people have the feeling that we have to do something different than what we've been doing.
Right.
So almost everybody, I would say, has been like really, really supportive of this. So I think that this is something where we have to be all parts of the economy. We have to participate in.
Mm-hmm.
From, the high-tech fields, what I call the technical professional services, tech, legal, and finance, which, by the way, is creating most of the wealth in the country.
Mm-hmm.
The non-technical professional services, construction. A lot of people put focus on construction, but that's high dollars, low margin, high risk. I think there's lower hanging fruit for us. But I feel like everybody, regardless of their situation, that are people in.
Mm-hmm.
So when I Black men specifically, and I say, when you go home, look at your kids, and you got to decide by the time your kids become adults that there's going to be a better outcome for them than what a lot of these young people have today.
Right.
So I think it is our responsibility to create opportunity, because I think we owe it to those that came before us to do something for those that are going to come after us.
Without a doubt. We wouldn't be in a position without the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. I'm going to ask you a question before we get out of here. They just passed an infrastructure bill. I've been blessed to acquire a radio station, an internet company through legislation. This legislation has over 2,700 pages, but the first 18 pages are the most important because it gives line by line of the allocation of dollars that's going to be coming down to different categories of business. What should our business people, what should our entrepreneurs be preparing for as these dollars are going to be allocated in the next 6 months?
Here's what I would say, that you have to understand the details, and then you have to advocate for our participation in that in proportion to our talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people are not going to, not like you, don't know where to look, don't know what the rules are.
Right.
Therefore, our community will miss out. So the other thing is you can't just look out for you. You have to look out for other people as well.
Right.
So form a consortium, but also know what you're talking about. Figure out how that our community is going to get a part of that. Listen, we have two big bills. The ARPA funding, which that's $1 billion that's going to Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably another $1.5 billion that's going to go to Nebraska from the infrastructure bill. So what's the plan? What's the plan to create an economic foundation that'll lift our people from poverty to prosperity?
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a plan for that.
Has that conversation? There's been some conversation. There's been some town hall meetings in regards to our councilwoman and our state senators, but people are coming with ideas, but there's not really a what would you say, a strategy plan that, like I said, that will be beneficial to everyone versus a particular business. Um, how can we start that conversation? Because if I believe we don't have a holistic plan, we're gonna get the same people that's been getting money is going to be getting the same money, and those that have not will not. And I believe that we have to, like you said, have a plan for those that that need that guidance in order to acquire those dollars.
Well, I think what's important is that you have to create something that's sustainable, not just transitory.
Okay.
Too often, government will just kind of pass out money, like social service money, right? Social services money can keep people from really falling into deep poverty, but it doesn't help them get out of poverty.
Right.
So we have to think about this as infrastructure, economic infrastructure that allows us to do business, to create opportunity. So we propose something, a plan that aligns to the Alpha mission, where the money goes to create kind of new and sustainable entrepreneurial participation for where people are today. I think, again, we have to be part of all parts of the economy.
Right.
But I think that the people who benefit from that participation also have to take on some responsibility for pulling some other people forward. Because if we don't do that, that is how actually communities become successful.
Right.
It is through social capital. But if somebody just gets some money and they're not pulling somebody else forward, what they'll find is at some point they won't be successful.
Right.
There's a passage in the Bible that says, it's better to give than receive. There is something about pulling people forward, giving, and thinking about others. That's what business is about. It's about solving either a financial or emotional problem for a customer that they're willing to pay for, where it costs you less to deliver it than they will pay you for it.
Right.
That's how you make money. That's how you build a company. And in order to build a company, you can't think about yourself first.
Right.
Nobody cares about you. They care about themselves. So in life, in general, when you start to think about others before you think about yourself, what you'll find is good things will come to you. You'll be more successful, more happy, more content, and your life will have more meaning than if you're focused on what kind of.
That's kind of guy. I'm going through that process right now. I have a couple of tribes flying in today. Well, actually, that they flew in yesterday from California, because of the work we did in Macy, Nebraska, on the Indian reservation, where we provide internet service to that community. They love that I thought about them. They love that we showed love to our neighbor, and they're showing me gratitude by flying in and listening to my guidance in regards to how to further set up internet service, as well as a radio station on the Indian reservation. And so, like I said, that all comes from giving, and then waiting on God to give you the tenfold on the back end. So I'm living that right now. It's just a blessing. And we encourage you guys to do the same thing. If you do it from your heart, God will pay you tenfold, without a doubt. Brother Robert, Blackwell Jr., he's calling in from, where you at now? You in Chicago, Tokyo? What?
I'm in Chicago. I'm in Chicago this week, but I spend about 30% of my time in Omaha.
Okay. So again, we're talking to Robert Blackwell Jr. He's the founder of the Alpha Mission, Nebraska. Please go to www.alphamission.com. You can hear more about the Alpha Mission and how you can get involved. Without a doubt, I believe so heartily that it's going to take business to get us out of this situation, and we have to start doing business together. Brother Robert, we appreciate your partnership as we move forward to educate not only the Omaha but the world community.
Well, listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you having me on, and I think we're going to do some great things together. And I'm talking about our people. There's no reason that we have to live in this misery. And the thing I want to point out about what you're doing is the bigger the problem that you can solve for more people, the better off your business is going to be. So like you thought about somebody else, delivering value to somebody else is how you grow your business. So I kind of commend you on what you're doing there.
Well, I appreciate it. You just reinforced the path that we all need to go in, without a doubt. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs, the NOI, Nebraska, Omaha, Iowa. We've been talking to our brother from the Alpha Mission, Nebraska, Robert Blackwell Jr. If you missed any of the knowledge, we kind of just want to give a history of Robert, who he is, where he came from, and why he is moving with this mission. Just go to our YouTube page, 95.7 The Boss, or go to my Facebook page or our business page, 95.7 The Boss, and you can, you can see this broadcast. Robert will be back next week, 7:30 right here. We're gonna be talking about the Alpha Mission and how you can get involved. And again, we want to just do business, y'all. We don't want no handouts. Nah, we don't want no handouts. We just want to make sure that we do business and have opportunities to do business. Robert, since you're in Chicago, you get the last word.
Listen, I appreciate you inviting me to do this, William. I'm a big fan of yours, and I think just imagine how much better our country will be when we prove that the free enterprise system works for everybody. And we might as well start right here in Omaha.
Without a doubt, baby. We right in the middle. It's going to send a ripple effect all around the world. We're so appreciative and blessed to work with you, my brother. And so let's change the world. Let's change the world without a doubt.
There you go. Thank you, man.
All right, bro. Have a good day. I'll be in touch with you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. That was Robert Blackwell Jr. He is the founder of the Alpha Mission, Nebraska. The main mission is they just want to do business, baby. They just want you to just do business with Black people. This is our mission also. Every Friday, we call it Black Friday for a reason. The purpose is to do business with Black businesses. All right, we're going to take a musical break. I'll be right back with you. Oh, yeah, let's get by, y'all, my man. You know who he is, my man Jay Keys. Let's get by. Boss with me this morning.
It's an everyday struggle just to get by. This ain't playing, gotta get by. Doing my grind, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by, I'ma get by. Nowadays rolling too deep. Me and my partners be coolin'. Grinding to get it and stack it up, rack it up, split it up, blessings we doin'. Kids be asking what's up. I'm trying to stay out the way. Head on the swivel, I'm watching the walkers that push on your soul every day. I'm dope. I'm so organic. We pushing product. What? We set the standards. Every day you gotta elevate. Always be pushing to get more. Always be listening to intuition. I promise to God you'll get more. It's an everyday struggle just to get by. This ain't playing, gotta get by. Doing my grind, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by, I'ma get by. Breaking the mold, man, I'm different from most. Pops had a hold of my head, bro. Soaking the game up until I came up to a time when I needed to flip mode. Niggas be asking what's up. I'm trying to stay out the way. Swinging and switching lanes with the thing. I promise my mama I'll change, but I'm dope. Ay, I'm so fantastic. Ay, You see the drip, where you can have it. If you really wanna get up and get it, my nigga, there ain't no excuses. Look at your life, and if you ain't satisfied, trying to change up the deuces. It's an everyday struggle just to get by. This ain't playing, gotta get by. Doing my grind, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by. Get by, I'ma get by, I'ma get by.
Oh, that's my man Jay Keys. You know, he actually played the keys in church. Oh, yeah. Man, we got some versatility. Oh, yeah, in our streets. We're going to keep it rolling, y'all. If you go outside, oh, yeah. You go outside, if you white, Mexican, Chinese, you get darker, oh, yeah. You black. You black. Black power, y'all. Sherman Wells, boss man.
On my life, I don't have no real enemies, but I know everybody is not a friend to me. I show my people love, that's why I always get it back. And I stand up for my family, one phone call I will attack. And real recognize real, so I don't see you haters. And I'm not talking about my brothers, I'm talking about these snakes. They smiling in our face, but turning us against ourselves. Killing all the black kings to keep the queen from getting out. We 40 cal, self-trained, so we don't need the army busting down my door. I wish these martial law try me. We some psychopaths, raised in the projects, and I ain't met a move yet who can dodge a tech. Hey, cause this the year of the black power. We going all in, man, this shit is ours. Hey, we moving forward, ain't no turning back. The opposition is born in America, being black. Hey, cause this the year of the black power. We going all in, man, this shit is ours. Hey, we moving forward, ain't no turning back. The odds against us born in America, being black. They call us militant and racist cause we still resist the brainwashing and genocide by this government. My people waking up and now at least we more conscious with plans of unity, but still we must proceed with caution and breaking the cycle of thinking like slaves. Gather up knowledge and nurture your brain to change the situation. Death is what our race is facing. We in a nation where they shoot us first, ask questions later. Black lives mean nothing in their eyes, we just a perpetrator. And marching and holding rallies, that's not doing nothing. We tried it Martin's way and still our people struggling. It's time to educate and elevate from all the hate. Our future generations is at stake. We don't have time to waste. Cause this the year of the black power. We going all in, man, this shit is ours. Hey, we moving forward, ain't no turning back. The odds against us born in America, being black. Hey, cause this the year of the black power. We going all in, man, this shit is ours. Hey, we moving forward, ain't no turning back. The odds against us born in America, being black. Black power, black power, black power, black power, black power, black power, black power,
Time is on your side. Time is on your side.
It's just a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's real.
I'm telling you, it's real.
Here's what I want y'all to do for me. Check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay away from me. It's contagious.
Stay at least 6 feet away from others.
The most dangerous disease. Coronavirus.
Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene.
Gonna show these people what time it is, boy.
We can stop the spread of the virus.
Coronavirus. Show me your mouth. Say it. You're contagious.
Strut presents the Midwest Poetry Vibe Live. Thursday, November 25th, Thanksgiving night at 9 p.m. It's open mic poetry with a live band. Tables and booth rentals are available. Pre-sale tickets are on sale till November 20th. For ticket information, contact Reginald Clark at 402-706-2491 or Kenny Barrett at 402-221-9798. It's the Midwest Poetry Vibe Live. Get your tickets now. The Strip Lounge is located at 504 North 90th Street, Omaha, Nebraska.
All right. Omaha, the burbs, the bluffs. Turn this down a little bit. How y'all doing today? Oh, again, I want to thank my man Robert Blackwell Jr. calling in from the Chi-Town. Oh yeah, every Monday now from 7:30 to 8:30, we're gonna be doing the Alpha Mission. We'll be talking about how we can do business with Black people. Oh yeah, Black businesses. Oh yeah, we got another Black business in here, y'all. You know how these stars are. They got their own noun, verbs, adjectives, prepositional phrases, all yes and predicates. This brother been in here a while. He's actually running 101.3 now. Yeah. Oh yeah, you know this is how we do it. We actually share the love around here. Ain't no jealousy. Shouts out to Club Nouveau. Yeah, man.
Yeah, big shouts out to Club
Nouveau.
Nouveau.
Without a doubt. We did a thing during the Boss Awards. My man Slim, did his thing, y'all. And now he's doing his thing with the poetry. Oh yeah, it's back. The Midwest Poetry Vibe is back. And so, oh yeah, if you want to be around some wordsmiths, these wordsmiths. I call them wordsmiths because they do the things with the words. They do things with the words. They cause emotion, etc., that that are necessary. And so he hang out with wordsmiths. I mean, the ones that create emotion that make you cry, that make you laugh, that make you smile.
Yeah.
And he's doing it at the Strut Lounge. Why don't you go Slim? Why don't you let people know who you are?
What's up?
Let them know what's going on. Since you already run the radio station, I'm about to get out of here. It's your show, baby.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy DJ Reggie C from them Fleet DJs all over the world internationally. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody in Omaha, Nebraska. This show that we're about to put on the Midwest Poetry Vibe live Thanksgiving night, November 25th at the Strut. If you want to know what the location it is, it's 5402 North 90th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. My guy Kenny out there that owns the place is letting us do it again. We tend to do it once or twice a year. A lot of people have been asking, are you going to do it on a consistent basis, like every week, like back in the days? Like some of the history I like to say about the Poetry Vibe, that it's been going on for 17 years. 17 years. That's why I call it Omaha's very own Midwest Poetry Vibe, because it belongs to Omaha. Right. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in town for Thanksgiving night and you're looking for something to do spectacular with your family and with your friends, I want you guys to come out to the Midwest Poetry Vibe. I got a couple of tickets that I'll be giving away on the air. Right. Boom. Y'all see them? Got a couple of them be giving away on the air. This is going to be a sold out event. I'm gonna tell y'all that now. So if you plan to do a walk up, you want to get there around 8:30 because it's guaranteed to pack out. The capacity is probably around 130 people, and so far on the event itself, we have 141 people saying that they're coming out to the Vibe. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, you might want to contact Kenny. His number is 402-321-9798. That's to get like tables and chairs. We're actually booths. I want to say that we're selling the booths, and the rest of them is going to be general admission tickets. I have got rid of some tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, it's going fast. The closer it gets to the date, the better, people come out and start buying tickets and start blowing phones up. But don't call me on the day of the event. I will be hosting that event, and my phone, I don't want it to be blowing up and stuff like that, asking where you can get tickets. Is it full? None of that. Y'all, none of that. Contact my guy Kenny at 402-321-9798. Big shouts out to the Strut Lounge for allowing us to continue to do this wonderful event for Omaha, Nebraska. This is you guys' event, not mine. This is Omaha, Nebraska's event. So with that being said, I want to give a couple of more shouts out. Again, big shout out to 95.7 The Boss. Had a great time at the Boss Awards. Wonderful event. We're going to be doing a lot of work together, me and William, and other radio stations that's in the general region of Omaha, Nebraska. So we want you guys to come out and enjoy great events that the city throws on for the city of Omaha. More shouts out. I want to give a big shout out to the band that's been holding this thing down for 17 years. Big shouts out to Big Wade. Without Wade, man, I wouldn't be able to do half of the things that I do. He's such a great asset to have to throw ideas at, and we ping pong ideas. And then, 17 years ago, we came up with the Midwest Poetry Vibe, and it was a wonderful event. Still to this very day, Omaha, Nebraska, the Midwest Poetry Vibe is a great pillar of events that go on throughout the city, along with all these wonderful other events that goes out. I'd like to give more shots out to a couple more people. Everybody that's been sharing the event on Facebook, I thank you. The city of Omaha thanks you. You know what I'm saying? Because this is what it's all about. It's about coming together, having a great time. Now, I'm going to explain. I'm going to go back to my shout outs, but I want to explain a little bit about how the Poetry Vibe is going to go that night. Now, you guys know that this is an open mic show. If you want to get in and do some poetry, you have to show up pretty early, somewhere around 8:30. The sign-up list will be at the door. I will have a sign-up person going around. Miss Kelly Joe Riggs will be going around having people to sign the list to sign up for that night. It won't be no general order. I kind of go down the list really, really, really fast. Also invite all of the poets. If you're a poet out there and you're getting it in and you want to come out and you want to showcase, this will be a live performance recording as well. We'll be recording it for a podcast. We'll be recording it for future radio programs and stuff like that. So if you want to come out and get your shine on, come on out and get your shine on, because it's going down. Not only poets, singers can get up, comedians can get up. You know what I'm saying? You just got a live band that's backing you, which makes the vibe just a wonderful thing. Like most of the things that go on at the Poetry Vibe is never practiced. So if you think we practice these shows and prepare things, no, that's what the vibe is all about. We in Omaha create the vibe.
Without a doubt. So come out. It's gonna be a spontaneous show, unique show. I'm a car star. And we got a lot of rappers. A lot of y'all rappers are car stars. Because
right.
You ask them sitting EP3. I'm tough on everybody. I ain't gonna message our preachers today. I'm giving them rappers.
Right.
You ask them to see MP3s and they you never hear from them.
Right.
But all of a sudden they're a car star because all they do is stay in their car with their homies and listen to their music. I'm a car star too. I put on instrumentals and I rap and sing.
Right.
But when I get out of my car, I'm just me again.
Yeah.
I'm just me again.
Yeah.
And so for all y'all pretend rappers and singers, please don't pretend. Don't be a car star like me. You know what I mean? Because you're only gonna be a car star. You know what I mean? A star in your car.
Right.
And so don't pretend. Let's be for real. So get your MP3s because Slim runs a radio station. I run a radio station. And if you're trying to take your music to the next level, and this is one of the events that you can.
Yes.
You got to get to know people.
Yes.
If you're an artist and you're trying to get your stuff on the air, you got to be in the building to get to know people. It's all through relationships.
Right.
And so by you supporting the Midwest Poetry Vibe, next thing you know, your music could be spinning to 600,000 people.
Right.
You got 600,000 people. I got 600,000 people. We got, what's that?
And
almost 1 million people.
Right.
This 1.2 million listeners.
Right.
Combining and then with Gospel Omaha.
Right.
We talk about 1.8 million listeners.
Right.
Potential. And so
yep.
Let's just do this for real, y'all.
Radio is power, y'all. A lot of the artists, I like to say this to a lot of the artists, that what you might know and don't know is that every time you submit your music over to 95.7 The Boss, every time you submit your music over to 101.3 FM, every time you submit your music to the digital platform radio stations like Q96 or The Beat Show, those spins count. Those spins are counted. So what's the best way to get your music and get your stuff heard than submit your music correctly to the radio stations? Now, getting back to the poetry vibe, there's a couple of people that I like to thank that's over the years. And it's going to be a night of appreciation too.
Okay.
A couple of people, a couple of the poets that's been since 17 years ago from the very beginning, I like to give some shots out. I like to give a big shout out to Felicia Webster. She always come out and tear the house down. So big shout out to Felicia Webster for all of these years. She's shown up. She supported the Midwest Poetry Vibe, and we really appreciate her. We really appreciate Stefan Bradford. He has a league going on, Little League, was the basketball going on, and he always come out and do a phenomenal job as a poet. I like to give a big shout out to Shakita Newsom. I think her last name's changed now. I think she's married at this particular time, but she always comes out and knocks the show out. I want to give a big shout out to Juju. She always comes out and do a wonderful job. I mean, back in the Keno King days, back in the 1507 days, back in the Cartier days, the Midwest Poetry Vibe has been in so many venues. It is absolutely crazy. And I like to thank everybody that owned those venues as well. I'd like to give a big shout out to Nick for letting us do the very first Midwest Poetry Vibe at the 1507 downtown Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Mr. Tim Moore. He came into town, and this guy seen what was going on with the Midwest Poetry Vibe. He signed up for the list, and he tears the house down every time he do it. And I'm pretty sure that Tim will be in the building that night as well. I want to give a big shout out to Lightpole. Lightpole came out with a show, had a guy playing the guitar. Wonderful. That's what we like to see at the Vibe. Be very creative when you come to the Vibe. Come with great energy, and that's what it's all about. Want to give another shout out to Terrell Prince for also coming out. He's been like one of the day ones as well. So big shouts out to all of the poets. If I forgot your name, blame it on my mind, but my heart, y'all know my heart. You guys know my heart, and it's such a wonderful place. And to put this vibe on this year, wasn't gonna do one this year, you know what I'm saying? Because the last one we did was in March. So we decided, what better way to get people out to enjoy themselves after a Thanksgiving meal? And Big Wave said Midwest Poetry Vibe. So here it is, y'all. Big shouts out to the band. Like I say, if it wasn't been for Big Wave, Andrew Brookins, and Greg Bowie, those guys seen the vision back in 2004, and we put on a great show. Omaha, Nebraska really loves it. They come out and support it every time. We want you guys to come out. The Midwest Poetry Vibe live Thanksgiving night, November 25th at the Strut Lounge, located 5402 North 90th Street is where the Strut is. And we want you guys to come out and have a great time and enjoy yourself, because it's going to be a wonderful event. And I got 2 tickets that I'm going to give away on the air. And I think, what do you want to do, William? You want to take callers, or how you want to do it, man?
We take callers, or we get our social media, either way, because we got both on both mediums, on Facebook, YouTube. So if y'all give us a call, 402-763-6781. People at work right now, so they're gonna get in trouble.
I'm actually live on my social media platform as well. So if you want to win some tickets, go ahead and hit me up. Let me know. And we're going to give these tickets to the first person that calls that number.
Yep, 402-763-6781. If you want to be around some great poets, or if you want to be in the room just enjoy the show. So, or if you want to get in the show.
Right. And then again, if you guys do want to get in the show, it is some show etiquette now. I want to say this too. When you come out to the Midwest Poetry Vibe, we are recording this in front of a live studio audience. You guys are the live studio audience. So if you watched any shows, how it goes when people are up performing, we want to give the poets and the people that come up to the mic some respect. Like far as when they're doing their thing, keep in mind that we're recording this for live production. So therefore, when the poets get up doing their thing, we like for the crowd to kind of quiet down a little bit and then applaud when they get off of the stage. So that's going to be going down. It's going to be a great night. The event is a great venue. The Strut, you can't, I DJ in the Strut as well, as far as Dina's Place and a whole lot of places. Big shouts out to Dina's Place as well. Like I said, this is one big place to come to that you can network as well. You know what I'm saying? If you got projects coming out, Mr. William King is going to be in the building from 95.7 The Boss. I'm going to be representing 101.3 FM Mind and Soul. My guy DJ Suede out of Lincoln is going to be representing Q96. I'm also going to be representing the Beat Show Radio on the digital platforms. So if you have music and stuff like that, bring your flash drives and stuff like that, and let's network. Let's really network to bring, because we are responsible for the culture here in Omaha, Nebraska to build. We are very responsible for that. So shout outs to all of the artists that's in Omaha, Nebraska. Shout out to all of the artists that's in the whole Midwest region, because we got to take this region by storm. You know what I'm saying? So events like this, events like the Boss Awards, events like, the brunches and stuff like that people be having throughout the day and throughout the mornings and stuff like that. Big shouts out to all of the venues in Omaha, Nebraska. I want to give a big shout out to Johnny T's as well, DJ down there a couple of weeks ago. So big shouts out to them, and a big shout out to, I can't forget the DJs. The DJs are so important, guys. If you want to get your music out there and want to get your music heard, you have to build relationships with these DJs. You know what I'm saying? Those that own radio stations, those that are on radio stations, those that have radio shows on radio stations. It's a lot going on in Omaha, Nebraska, and we got to dig deeper inside of the culture to bring it to the forefront. So Midwest Poetry Vibe Live, Thanksgiving night, November 25th at the Strut, located 504 North 5402. Man, getting tongue tied. North 90th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. My guy Kenny Merritt gave him a call at 402-321-9798. And also, if you want to win those Midwest Poetry Vibe tickets right now, I'm going to give out my telephone number, 402-706-2491. If you guys call that number, you got you a pair of tickets to get inside of the Midwest Poetry Vibe, because it will be a sold out affair.
All right. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. It's 8:56 in the mix. The NOI, Nebraska, Omaha, Iowa. Been holler at my man DJ Reggie C. They got the Midwest Poetry Vibe at the Strut Lounge Thanksgiving night, y'all. You can't miss it. I know you're gonna be full, so you might as well come out and laugh it off. Without a doubt. Because, and then also cry it off, because they're gonna be some emotion. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of emotions in the building.
It's gonna be the men against the women. It always turns out to be that way when it comes down to the poetry.
So it's gonna be men against women.
No, not really, but that's how it ends up happening. You know what I'm saying?
Well, women, I'm coming out talking smack against y'all. I'm coming out talking. Y'all better.
But the women be holding it down. You better come with the. You better come with the gusto.
I know the women, but I was watching some sisters. He said that women. Still telling women, he said, don't argue with the men, because they can't win. And so, we can't out argue a woman. So we might as well just yield. But I am going to come with the adjectives, nouns, verbs, prepositional phrases on you. I might come with a run-on sentence on you also. So y'all be ready, ladies.
Wonderful skits that's going to be going on that night. You guys know that I always put on like different types of skits in between acts and stuff like that. So it's going to be, it's got not just poetry. This is so cultural when it comes to the Midwest Poetry Vibe. People can get up and do poems. People can get up and sing. People can get up and rap. I mean, it represents the culture the way the Midwest do when it comes down to it.
And by having that live band, it's an ecosystem. It's like an enigma. So it's just going to naturally entertain you by the eclectic artists that we have here in our community. So come out, enjoy. You're not only gonna get some poetry, you're gonna get some nice singing. You're gonna get entertained without a doubt.
Yep. Doors open at 8:00. Sign up list is at 8:00. We will be doing the list throughout the night, but if I get a lot of people at that between that 8 and that 9 hour when the doors open, the list is going to close. So if you are out there and you want to do some poetry or whatever the case may be, a couple of people have been hitting me up on Facebook asking me for slots and stuff like that, but I'm going to make it fair. I'm going to make it fair that I'm not going to take any of those off of social media. I'm just going to wait till you guys show up at the door. from 8 o'clock till 9 will be DJ will be spinning between that time. The band will be getting ready. People will be having drinks and stuff like that. The kitchen will be open, so people will be ordering food and stuff like that. That's going to be our hour for people to come and actually sign up for the Midwest Poetry Vibe. So it's very vital that if you want to perform that night, if you've been practicing your piece all week or ever since you found out that the Poetry Vibe was going to be going on, we want you guys to get there early when the doors open, and the list will be right there at the door.
All right. Anything else?
Man, that's completely it. I do have these tickets that I'm gonna leave with you, William. You can do with what you please with these throughout the whole time. Like I say, when you come out, you already know you VIP. You can come on straight up in there and represent 95.7 The Boss the way you do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm inviting everybody from Lincoln, everybody from Council Bluffs, everybody from Omaha, Nebraska, everybody from Bellevue, everybody from Papillion. Come on out. Let's have a good time. Thanksgiving night, November 25th at the Strut, located at 5402 North 90th Street, Omaha, Nebraska. Contact Kenny Merritt, 402-321-9798, or myself, Reginald Clark, 402-706-2491.
All right, y'all. Make sure you guys support. Support is necessary for our community to grow. Every event that happens create jobs, it sustain jobs. So let's continue to support each other as we move day by day. I want to thank God for bringing us here again live with y'all here this Monday morning. We call it Making Money Morning, but we rebranding it. It's the Alpha Mission Nebraska. We're going to be talking about business and how we can grow our business to sustainability.
I got one more shout out. My brother has been in town for almost 30 days, almost 31 days now. Tyrell Sullivan Clark is in the building right here at 95.7 The Boss. Want to give a big shout out to everybody in Birmingham, Alabama, everybody in Alabama, period, that knows the Clark family, that knows everybody, you know what I'm saying? We all family, you know what I'm saying?
Out.
So big shouts out to Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you, brother, for being in town. You've been a great help. I like to say that on the air, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we'll see you guys Thanksgiving night, November 25th at the Strut, y'all.
Without doubt. Without doubt. Omaha, the Birds of Bluffs, the NOI. You know how we do it, baby. You know how we do it. Today is, Making Money Monday. It's a mindset. We want you to make sure that you go to, we want to make sure that you go to alphamission.com. Go to alphamission.com. And we're going to see our mission to change, our environment.
Right.
We're going to create that Black Wall Street again, y'all. And we're going to do it right here in Omaha, Nebraska, the Burbs, the Bluffs. We out of here. But before we get out of here, shout out to my DJ.
It's the world famous ship.
Oh, yeah. My man Slim, you got to get him to the DJ.
All right, get him to the DJ.
Here we go. Shout out to my DJ.
And it goes like,
shout out to my DJ. We about to run the streets like a relay. All about my cheese like I'm Green Bay. Packages coming in like it's eBay. Oh, and we know just how to get it all. You gotta deal with playing, you know I get it all. Hit the block and make it summer song. If it ain't about money, then I won't get involved. Look, make a call, he gon' get it all. Vacuum seal it before we send it all. Yeah, I'm hot, no ethanol. Put a bag on his head, that's a problem solved. Ever cared about a hater? No, not at all. Ever trust a trick? No, not at all. Hit a smooth lick when ain't got it all. Never ever been a worker, always been a boss. Catch me riding on my dolo. Trying to find a way to get some more dough. Oh, I think I found my mojo. And I ain't going broke no more. True, got these little haters mad. Why? Cause I'm really, really in my bag. Right, invest and make it double back twice. Just a younger living that fast life. Shout out to my DJ. We about to run the streets like a relay. All about my cheese like I'm Green Bay. Packages coming in like it's eBay. Oh, and we know just how to get it all. You gotta deal with playing, you know I get it all. Hit the block and make it summer song. If it ain't about money, then I won't get involved. It's that AAA hitter. My rolling like a skate figure. Right now, you looking like a steak dinner. Better leave before we take you off that plate hitter. Oh, and you don't wanna go there. Look around, ain't no goofies in here nowhere. Ooh, look, shout out to my DJ. Couple shows hit the road on the freeway. Oh, They showing love like it's V-Day. Every day is lit like it's my B-Day. You know I had to do this thing the G-Way. Cause they gon' wanna hear this song on replay. Shout out to my DJ. We about to run the streets like a relay. All about my cheese like I'm Green Bay. Packages coming in like it's eBay. Oh, if we know just how to get it all. You gotta deal with playing, you know I get it all. Hit the block and make it somersault. If it ain't about money, then I won't get involved.
All right, Omaha, the Birds of Blessed. We're about to get out of here. We appreciate you guys for support 95.7 The Boss. Oh, yeah. Go to alphamission.com, y'all. alphamission.com. Oh, yeah. Today is Making Money Monday. Go out and make that money, y'all. Boss with me.
It's just a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's real.
I'm telling you, it's real. Here's what I want you all to do for me. Check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay away from me if you're contagious.
Stay at least 6 feet away from others.
The most dangerous disease.
Coronavirus.
Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene.
Gonna show these people what time it is, boy.
We can stop the spread of the virus.
Coronavirus.
Cover your mouth. Say it.
So stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Most importantly, let's check on our elderly.
Word up. You ain't going out like that.
We're here to keep you informed.
Coronavirus. Just get it real.
Don't believe the hype.
In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Don't believe the hype.
Yeah.